Welcome to today's FCICA educational webinar titled Project Management for Commercial Flooring. We are pleased to have Mike Pigeon with us today. Mike Pigeon uses his extensive background in flooring installation in his present role for the Ropey Holding Company as a technical installation specialist. He is a proud certified installation manager and currently serves on the Certified Installation Manager, or CIM, task force. And Mike, I'll turn the session over to you.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. This is we're very excited with the CIM program and what it offers and what is going on with it. You know, it's a very exclusive program that there's not a lot of options out there in the industry that that has the certification and gives this type of quality of knowledge and learning experience to the floor laying field. So especially on the project management side of it. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us today. I just want to, I just got nervous there really quickly because as Kelly was going through the promo stuff, I lost my connection and I thought I was going to be dead in the water, but I popped back up, so we're good to go. But again, thank you. So I'm 33 years into the industry right now. You know, again, you know, I've got a lot of background on both residential and light commercial, heavy commercial, and I've been in you know, on the installation side of it, I've been on the project management side of it, and now I'm actually in the on the manufacturing side of it too. So I've seen all the different realms of the industry and got to know a lot of good people, and you know, just hope that I can bring something to the table here today and really educate you guys about what the CIM program is all about. Oh, let me go here. I got to click. All right. So what are we going to touch base on today? Okay. What we're going to touch base on today is a few of these topics here. You know, what is project management? You know, what is a project manager? A lot of things that I've seen in the industry over the years in meeting people and talking to different people in different marketplaces is there's really no set program as far as what a project manager is. Some are involved in sales, some are involved in the financial side of it, some are involved with the specifications of it or the specifying of it. Others are basically just involved with after the contract has been signed, and then all of a sudden they become the project manager and really have nothing to do with sales. So unlike a business model, you know, where one business has a business model, different marketplaces when it comes to project management have different roles. So we're you know, and the extremity or the level of involvement per role or per area or how every business handles it is quite different. So, you know, what can we do to offer you guys a better system, you know, much more knowledgeable, I guess, all the way around wholeheartedly as far as, you know, different aspects of the job. So some might be involved on a smaller scale, some might be involved on a larger scale when it comes to the complete parameter of the job from sales all the way to completion. So, you know, what is project management? You know, we'll kind of touch base on that. What is a project manager? Okay, we will define, you know, we'll try to define what he does. Again, different marketplaces, different businesses run it differently. What's involved with managing the project? How can we help you manage the project? What can the CIM program bring to managing the project? Responsibilities of a project manager. And I have to apologize, everybody. I am out in my shop right now, and I live right next to an airport. So if you hear a plane go by periodically, that's I can't stop that. So just to kind of give you a heads up. So responsibilities of a project manager. Okay, what are the responsibilities? What is he going to run into, or are they going to run into during the process of a job, the completion of a job? You know, throughout the progression from start to finish. And what's it take to get job completion? You know, everybody knows that it's nice after a big job to have everything bundled up and to have everything complete, because there's a lot of times when it comes to closeouts and attic stock and stuff that, you know, what do you need? What are the requirements? And sometimes people scramble on this and they don't even think about this because they're so wrapped up in the you know, the central part of the job, they're not even thinking about the completion part. And training. What is the importance of training? Okay, everybody needs training. And then obviously we're going to get into the solution and we'll get into the question and answers. So project management, you know, this is a nice basic, simple explanation here as far as what project management is. The application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques for a broad range of activities to meet the requirement of a particular project. Every project is different, whether it be small, whether it be large, whether it be working with a familiar GC, whether it's working with a new GC. Everything is different, and the requirements as far as the project management, it requires different skills, different levels of skills, and knowledge is power, especially in the construction trade. The fast-pacedness of a lot of the construction jobs these days, and how quick they want the turnaround. The knowledge is power, and so this is kind of a basic general concept as far as project management. The application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques for a broad range of activities to meet the requirements of that particular project. So, who manages the project? This resorts back to what I was saying earlier, is that different companies run their companies different ways, and their project management levels. Is there an installation manager? Is there an overall project manager? Do they report and hand everything down to the guy who's in charge of the installation? And the guy as far as the installation, what does he do? What's his role? Does he basically just take the material and get to the job site and oversee the foreman, and make sure that the installers, so again, different business models have different layers and different aspects of what their job entails. An installation manager on one side of it might be a little bit different than an installation manager on the other side of it. So as far as marketplaces, and project managers, head of installation, foreman, estimators, is the estimator involved during the project, or is he actually just on the pre-contract side of it and does the estimating prior to getting the contract? And then once the contract is signed, is it handed over to a project manager or an installation manager? Sales, finance, procurement, all of that is very important, especially those three right together. Getting material on the job site, being able to put in for payment on the finance side of it. Sales, did sales, when they sold the job, did they figure out how far ahead this job is, and maybe is there price increases? Is there stuff that we need to look out for future reference? Are we going to get hit with an increase? So sales, finance, and procurement, those three together are very crucial, and they really need to work together, because finance needs to know if there's going to be price increases. They need to know if there's going to be an effect to the bottom line once the job is done, especially, like I said, if it's year and a half out. And procurement, that procurement definitely relates to finance. And personnel, who are we going to get on the job site? Who's going to be there? What's their specialty? So we'll talk all about that in a little bit more detail. But, as far as project management, this is what it entails. It's about putting a team together. So what is a project manager? Project manager focuses on installation readiness and the quality of services that are delivered. They assume responsibility for the success of the job by communicating, verifying site conditions before the installation begins, and monitoring quality and addressing changes in the field during installation. All right, so they are the main contact, okay? Though the project manager in most scenarios is the main contact between the GC and the flooring contractor. Okay, he's going to oversee all the different aspects of it and make sure everything runs smoothly. So that can be basically on smaller jobs. It'll sometimes they run themselves, but on bigger jobs they need a daily assessment, a daily attentiveness, and that's why on bigger jobs you definitely need people working underneath you, whether it be a foreman or an installation manager, to help you with that, because as we all know, in today's pace, on some of these bigger jobs, one man can't do it all. So what are the different aspects of being a project manager? What's going to help you be a better project manager? Leadership. Okay, we'll kind of brush on these, a little bit on each one. Leadership is huge. Okay, you need to know and have the ability to understand the product and the job and what's going on, and you have to lead. Leadership is huge. If you're not a good leader, then a lot of people take you for granted, And that's not good. And especially on bigger jobs, on any job actually, that you need that quality of leadership to be able to say, okay, this is what needs to be done. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. Let's meet, let's have this meeting, let's wrap our heads around it. And so that way when we're all going in, we're going in together and we have a good mindset as far as what's going to happen. Adaptability. You have to be adaptable. I mean, these jobs change all the time. You can have a job that's running perfectly smooth, and then within one phone call, stuff has changed. Something has happened, whether it be your trade, whether it be another trade, has put you on the back burner, and all of a sudden you have to reallocate your guys, and adaptability is huge. So, not only that, but also for procurement. A lot of times you get to the job site and the elevators aren't working, or something's down, or getting material from ground to third floor. Adaptability is huge. So, installation knowledge. I think every project manager needs to have an installation knowledge, because he needs to know what to look out for on the job site. He needs to installation knowledge on the project management side of it is going to save everybody about 10 to 15 phone calls when the installers get to the job site. If you don't know anything about the installation and what to look for, and tell the installers what you're going to find when they get to the job site, then that could be a huge deficit. Communication is always a great aspect, and it's one of the major players. You have to communicate to your team. You have to communicate to the GC team. You have to make sure you're communicating on the submittal side of it, and what the products need to be, and what the ramifications are if you want to change the products. It's all about communication, and as we all know today, everything's electronic. So everything is an email. It's not a paper trail. It's not fax machines. It's an email, and communication is great. A lot of stuff to do follow-ups, have a conversation with someone on the phone, and I always used to tell them, you know what, I'm going to send you an email to do a follow-up email just as far as what we talked about today on the phone, because a phone conversation is a phone conversation, but it's not recorded, it's not documented, so it's always good to do follow-up, and communication is huge. Product knowledge, same thing with installation knowledge, okay? If you don't know the products you're putting in, if you don't know the installation techniques, if you don't know what the end user is looking for, and whether your product that you're submitting on is compatible, then there's going to be, issues. Trainability. I've been in this business a long time. I'm sure a lot of the people on this phone call have been in the business a long time, and I always like to pride myself to say that I don't know it all. I'll never know it all in this business, and it's not because I don't pay attention. It's not because I don't know what's going on. It's just because stuff changes all the time. So we have to be trainable. Different levels of responsibility. The pre-job award. Who's responsible for the pre-job award? Who's bidding the job? What goes into bidding the job? Are you capable of bidding the job? Are the job ramifications as far as the level, the size of the job? Are you able to? Is your company able to handle it? Once the job is awarded, who's going to take responsibility? Who plays what role once the job is awarded? And and again, it goes back to leadership. Is he a leader? Are they a leader? Are they capable of running that job? Building your team, obviously, that it's a huge aspect of it. Define the plan. Let's get together. Let's have a job meeting. Let's find out what's going to start from start to finish. How are we going to get the plan together? Do we have the capability of making this job work? How can we smooth this plan out? How can we smooth this job out to make sure that we go from start to finish in a good, clean manner? Job site conditions, obviously, that's a whole nother webinar in itself right there. Job execution, again, it comes down to manpower, installation. Do you have the qualified installers for the products going in? And then obviously job completion. So pre-job award and pre-bid assessment. Look at the contracts. Again, do you have the bonding capacity? What's involved with the bonding capacity? What's involved with the insurance processes? Does your company have that? And what are the requirements? Do you understand all the stuff about, bonding? Do you understand about the insurance coverages? Is it a RAP program? I'm not sure if everybody knows what a RAP program is, but that's where typically the end user will have their own insurance policy that everybody needs to get involved in, so that way everybody's covered. Understanding plans and specifications. You know, do we have the most updated plans? Has there been addendums? You know, was your sales guy an estimator working off the most recent? It happens many times that the estimator isn't working off the most recent plans, and all of a sudden the project manager, once the contract's awarded, gets it, and there's a change, and there's additional costs and time. So, all right, job awarded. Again, understanding the contract, the scope, the obligations. You know, there's a lot involved with a contract, and I highly recommend that when it comes to project managing, and once you get that contract, everything is read and understood from the very beginning. Actually, it's read and understood from whoever signs the contract. Cost impacts, materials, installation, going back to what I was talking about as far as, you know, how far out is the job? Will there be, you know, shipping increases? Will there be material increases? And knowing your point of contact. You know, it's very important that as a project manager, he understands who he's dealing with on the GC side. Build your team. Staff the job. Proper labor force. Okay, a lot of different products out there these days, a lot of different installation techniques. How can we help you decipher what needs to be done? How can we help you as far as installation techniques, and do they need training? Can we get a guy on site to help them if there's a product that they don't understand? Materials, tools, obviously, you know, what's involved. Manage relationships and personalities. Okay, I mean, you know, when it comes to project management, there's a lot of personalities that can get involved, and sometimes party A doesn't work great with party B, but if you put them on two different aspects of the job, they get their job done and everything works good. Financial management, very important on the team, because everybody needs to get paid, and we need to get paid consistently throughout the period of a you know, on a long scale job, or a job that's going out there in phasing. We need to make sure that we're ahead of that game. Financial management is a huge part. All right, define the plan. Okay, plans, schedule, scope. Scope is huge. Okay, schedule is obviously, you know, that's going to be typically defined by the GC, you know, and the job manager over on the GC side of it. Scope is huge. You know, what is your scope of the work, and how is that scope going to affect progress? You know, is it going to be phasing? Is it going to be all at once? Is it going to be working over top of other installers? Is it a fast pace? Well, I know it's kind of ironic to ask this these days, but every once in a while you get a job where you can go actually put guys on it, and they can make good progress, and nobody's going to be in their way. But their scope can also be, the scope and progress can actually even be impaired by other trades, and basically just the pace of the job. So, you know, how do we assess that? How do we be ahead of the game, per se, so that not only do we know what we're dealing with, but the GC and the other contractors know what we need as a flooring contractor. You know, one of the main things that I always used to like to say when I talk to these GCs and go to these project management meetings is, listen, the painter can paint the wall, and the electrician can work on the ceiling, and you know, put the lights up and put a switch in, but the flooring is where everybody walks. Okay, that's where everybody walks, and you guys need to understand that they need to respect that. So it can be, you know, it's all about knowing what your scope is, and the progress of the job. And adaptation, like we said, you know, whether it be changing a schedule, whether it be a change order that got in, whether it be something that the drywaller ran into that's holding him up. Adaptation, you know, am I going to allocate my guys, or my guys that I've got allocated to the job? Do I need to pull them off and go put them somewhere else to keep them working? And then when can I get them back? So adaptation is huge when it comes to these jobs these days, and we'll talk about that. Job site conditions, as I said before, this can be a whole other webinar all by itself. If anybody on this call knows that the job site conditions is going to be the main issue that holds you up, you've got to be the expert. You know, you've got to know your products, you've got to know the installation, you've got to be the guy that says, listen, if you tell me to proceed this way, it's bad. Okay, this is not a good way to proceed. There's going to be red flags, and as the expert, I'm going to make sure that everybody's accountable and make sure that everybody knows what's going on. You have to be able to assess the job site conditions, because ultimately you are the expert. And making those decisions, you know, actual conditions as far as environmental or physical, You know, it's a big player with project management and job access and storage. You know, where's my material going, and how long can I keep it there, and can I get paid for it? Job execution, manage and maximize resources, communicate and execute the job scope, monitor costs. I mean, costs are huge. You know, you guys went into this job, you bid it per what the plans and specifications said, and this is what our cost is. Okay, now are we having to order more material? Are we short? Do we have extra? Are we hitting our mark? Do we still have the profit in the job that we originally started? Are we going to end up at that profit margin? And you have to address the issues as they come when it comes to change orders and how to deal with that. Job completion, okay? Verify fulfillment of job scope and contract obligations. Very important these days. Everybody wants to hold you to a piece of paper, and that piece of paper would be the contract. A lot of times, again, with the progress of these jobs and how quick these jobs happen, everybody wants to hold you to the contract, you know, and one of the main things in contracts that you always find is, listen, you need to stick to the schedule. The schedule is more important than a change order. Okay, so just stick to the schedule. If you verify off of our schedule and diversify off of our schedule, all because of a change order, we can still hold you responsible. So you guys really need to understand that as a project manager. And again, it resorts back to what we were talking about, understanding the contract, read the contract. Document preparation, a lot of people know that they'll hold you to those submittals. If you're doing something different than what's on those submittals, they will hold your foot to the floor on that. Closeouts and warranties, you know, it's all part of it. Not only is it on the front side of it, but it's also on the back side of it. The people who have the product in the building once you're gone need to know how to maintain it. They need to know all the description about it. They need to know all the gory details as far as what it is. And again, maintenance is a huge one on closeouts. And warranty. They want to know where they stand and how long they're looking as far as their product being back. Job autopsy. Okay, this is basically punch list, attic stock, financial breakdown. I think the major one here is financial breakdown. When you want to do an autopsy of a job, it's exactly what we were talking about the last slide. What did we go in at? What was our profit margin? And where are we now? I mean, I think financial breakdown is a huge part of any job. You know, we want to get the job done. We want to be a respectable floor installation company. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that we're, you know, our backs are covered, and that where we started on this job is where we're going to end on this job, and hopefully even maybe make some money up on the back end of it too. So. All right. So with that being said, where does this lead us? Okay, why are you on this webinar right now? And the reason you're on this webinar is because of this. With the changing market these days, with the contracts, the different insurance programs, the different payment schedules, everything that's out there, it's all about training, people. Okay, if we don't have the proper training, what do we have to fall back on? Pretty much the only thing we have to fall back on is the mistakes we've made. And we all know that mistakes, we hopefully learn from our mistakes that we make. But you know what? If we can prevent these mistakes and we can get better prepared, okay, and if you're better prepared and you know what to expect, obviously there's going to be cost savings. Now, if there's cost savings, that's beneficial to the bottom dollar on the job. And not only that, but it also makes make the projects go a lot smoother, because you know what to expect. You know about contracts. You know about payment schedules. You know what to expect before it happens. And being prepared can only be accomplished from training. So the reason you're on this call today is exactly that, okay? It's to introduce to you the SIM program, okay? This is put together by a very educated, a very knowledgeable task force put together on FCICA, and it's the Certified Installation Manager's certification. Now, everything that we just talked about can be summed up under a properly trained installation manager. And we have put this program together to help you guys understand through educational people and straight up honestly through people who have made the mistakes, hopefully before you make the mistakes, and we've learned from them. And we always want to, you know, when we learn from our mistakes, not only do we learn from our mistakes, but also too, when we talk to other people, we can say, hey, listen, this is what I found, and I think that it's going to be beneficial for you to pay attention on your next job, because it ended up kicking me in the butt. So, and this is what the SIM program is all about. There's not, I don't think there's any other installation manager certification program as knowledgeable and as skillful that's put together through FCICA. And this is what we want to offer to you. So what is the SIM program? Well, the SIM program is basically, it's a training. Okay, it's set up in 8 different modules. Okay, you take the modules, you learn, we discuss, and basically the modules are put together through taped video recordings that we have at FCICA events that are basically specialized in these 8 categories, and they're very, you know, they go into deep detail. It helps out on the training. It's put together by some of the best minds in the industry. So you go ahead, you do the training modules, okay? And here's the different modules that we're going to talk about: utilizing the estimate, planning the job, understanding contractual obligation, scheduling and assigning resources, managing on-site conditions, managing change orders, which is huge in this industry, financial management, budget versus actual, which we had talked about, and closing out the job. Plus we have 2 bonus modules: managing materials on the job site and handling claims on the job site. Okay, both of those are you know, the bonus modules are a very important part of running a job. So let's get into a little bit of detail. All right, utilizing estimates, okay, changes in preparing labor estimates, steps for preparing an accurate estimate. Okay, this is all part of, again, you know, who's doing the estimating? Is it, you know, we worked with a company down south in California that basically the project manager that ran the job was the same guy that brought the samples to the specifier and designer, the architect and designer, and then he was part of getting the money, he was part of getting the material, he was part of getting the labor for the job, and a very vast array of responsibilities within that job. And then other guys that I know are basically, they have their estimators. Once the contract is signed, then they become the project manager. So, you know, but it doesn't really matter who does it. The estimate is huge. Okay, you have to look into all the different aspects of the job to become and get a good, accurate estimate. Types of the job site and job site environment variables, labor sourcing, you know, is it going to be in-house? Do you have to have contractors? So, you know, huge part of it. And this module gets very detailed as far as how to prepare yourself for this aspect of the job. The other module is planning the job. Okay, planning the job is huge. You know, whether it's after the contract is signed, it's about, you know, getting people to the job site, you know, getting people to the pre-job installation walks and the pre-job meetings, because everybody likes to make sure that you know who you're dealing with as far as the other contractors and the GC, and on top of that, it's good about having them understand who you are, and you being a flooring contractor, what you're going to require. But on top of that, you know, pre-job review, we just talked about. Steps for planning the job. I mean, steps for planning a job is going to, again, make that job go a whole lot smoother if you're ahead of the game. Warehouse manager's responsibility, very detailed into that. You know, the handoff process. You know, when you hand this off to the installers, when you hand this off to the foreman, you know, are you confident and that you've done everything you can to make sure that he's got everything he needs to make this, you know, run smoothly. And you know, in the SIM modules, we're going to talk very deeply into all of these aspects, because we've learned through our mistakes, and we've learned through experience. And it's a very good module here for planning the job. Qualified labor, best practices for planning the job. All of these are greatly reviewed in this module. Understanding contractual obligations. Many times many times people get in there and they don't understand the contract, and then all of a sudden something goes awry halfway through the job, and the GC just calls you up and says, well, you know what, under the contract, under this section, all of a sudden you're responsible. And you know what, it might have been missed. So it's very important that you know, in this training module, understanding your contract. Change order protocol. A lot of stuff goes on with change orders, as far as, you know, many times guys get on the job and it's like, yeah, you know what, go ahead and do it, I'll sign the paper. That's what the, you know, the GC's foreman says, and next thing you know, you find out that foreman really has no ramification and is not, you know, his signature on that piece of paper really doesn't mean anything, because per the contract you're supposed to go through you know, upper management. Submittals are huge. We'll talk, you know, a lot about submittals, because that's, you know, we want to make sure that we're submitting everything that they want and that everything that is approved is exactly what they want. And I know that kind of sounds backwards, but it's not, because, you know, there's a lot of times what they have in their specifications that we submit on, once they see it, they're not exactly happy with it, and things change as it goes. You know, they might not be happy with the colors, they might not be happy with the product, they might not be happy with the specifications of the product. So, you know, and stuff changes. So we really need to make sure, and we get very detailed on how to handle submittals. Approved shop drawings. A lot of the people out here today have the electronic estimating programs that give you a nice colored diagram. Shop drawings, you know, as far as directional, seam direction, pile direction, is very detailed, and it definitely helps. So attic stock, labor requirements, you know, is this going to be regular hours? Is there going to be a lot of overtime hours? Is there going to be a lot of off shift or off regular hours? And, you know, T&M ticket work. How do we handle T&M ticket work? There's a lot of marketplaces across this country that say, you know what, let's just do it on a T&M basis, and, you know, what's required. How are you going to be best prepared to make sure that when you've got a stack full of T&M tickets that you're actually going to get paid for them? And this module goes into great depth about that. Moisture testing and phasing. We all know that moisture testing, again, that could be another webinar in itself. Phasing, certified payroll, huge aspect right here. A lot of the jobs now, you know, that are government supplied or government funded or state funded are certified payroll, and there is a whole bunch of paperwork that gets involved with certified payroll, and one mistake can hold up a payroll check for a long time. So, you know, great module here, because certified payroll can be one of those things that nips you in the butt and can hold up payments for a long time. Project meeting obligations, customer contracts, and best practices for understanding contractual obligation. So this is a great module, very diverse and very well spoken about. There's a lot of information on this module. All right, scheduling and assigning resources. Again, it's, you know, it's all about scheduling. It's all about what do we do once we get to the job, what to expect when we're at the job. You know, challenges of scheduling, criteria for superior leadership. It goes into great detail about that, and it helps you as a project manager to understand all the different aspects as far as scheduling. Again, I'm going to repeat myself on this, but this program was put together by some of the finest minds in the industry, who are all part of FCICA and who are all part of this SIM program, and they've got a lot of great scheduling and history as far as running both large and small jobs that can help the average project manager in the long run to be a much more gifted, a much more thorough, and a much more trained product manager. So short-range scheduling installation steps, scheduling logistics as far as material and procurement of material, and best practices for scheduling and assigning resources for installation. You know, again, you know, who's your installation team? How good are they? How efficient are they? Are you bidding the job? Did your estimator bid the job per the guys that he figured would be working on the job? Does he have an idea as far as how much work can they get done in a day? So very educational module here too. Managing on-site conditions. We all know this is challenging. We all know this can change on a daily basis. We all know this can be going smooth, as I said earlier, and within one phone call, it goes upside down on you. So, you know, very educational module here. Gives you a lot of insight, a lot of history, and a lot of the module. The video of this module is basically coming from a lot of history, a lot of experience, to where, you know, hey, listen, you know, when we put this module together, we put this module together from someone that dealt with a lot of installation experience and on-site conditions, because you know, you can't just speak this if you've never experienced it. And so this is a great module, very educational and very important when it comes to project management. Managing materials on the job site, material scheduling, acclimation is huge. Storing, delivery. So it gets very detailed as far as once you get the material onto the job site, all the way up to down below. I mean, you know, coordinating deliveries. Where can we deliver? How can we deliver? Is there a forklift? What's the accessibility? Do we have storage area? Protecting the floor is also huge. Again, going back to working with the other trades, you know, what do they expect? Is it going to be carpet? Is it going to be resilient? Are you put resilient down, are you going to be ahead of the electricians? You know, they going to be dumping stuff on their floor? Are the fire sprinklers going to be, you know, what's their schedule? Are they going to be dumping stuff on your floor? So, you know, managing material on the job site, very educational, and we get into great detail when it comes to this module too. Managing change orders. We all know change orders can hold up a job in no time whatsoever. You know, was it part of my contract? Was it part of my obligation? Is it something you're trying to dump off on me? You know, what's involved? What is the best practice that we can do that when a change order does come up, and they more than likely 90% of the time will come up, what is the process? Who do we need to get involved? And what's the most efficient way to get this taken care of in a timely manner to not affect the schedule? So, and I think just what I said there pretty much covers most of these bullet points. Managing deadlines, the type of change orders, contract text. So very detailed, and this module, I learned a lot from this module when I took my SIM certification. Financial, okay, actual to budget. This is very important. Okay, not only do we have to manage the job and the manpower and the materials and the, you know, procurement and everything else, but we need to make sure that our boss is going to be happy with us at the end of the job. We need to make sure that we're not cutting into his bottom dollar and his profits. A well-run job, a SIM certified installation manager can actually increase those profits, okay? Because again, when we went back to that other slide, it's all about training, knowledge, and a smoother job, okay? And that's what the SIM program brings to project managers out there. It's going to help you streamline. It's going to broaden your mind and your horizon as far as what to expect on jobs and how to deal with it. And bottom dollar is always about bottom dollar. If you're cutting into your budget and you're cutting into your profits every job, then something isn't right. Something needs to be streamlined, and the SIM certification is absolutely going to help you in this long run. All right, handling claims after the job site. You know, after the job is done, understanding product claims, handling adhesive claims. If you have a bonding issue, was there moisture mitigation done? Was there moisture testing done? You know, it really helps as far as once the product is installed, how long does the warranty go, and how do you handle claims if something does come up? And you know, every job should be smooth. Every job should go good, but in actuality, you know, we do have problems. So what's the best way? And closing out the job is very important too. Okay, punch list, closeout meetings, operation and maintenance manuals. So very detailed and a very good program. So this is one of the last modules that we have here. So again, foreman, sales, procurement, estimator. In my honest opinion, I think that anybody that is involved in this list right here, okay, finance, estimators, foreman, it doesn't matter, can benefit from the SIM program. Okay, it gives you a whole broad array as far as all aspects of the job from start to finish. Again, I'm going to repeat myself and say that it's put together by some of the top minds in the industry and very knowledgeable people. And I think that when it comes to this, everybody can benefit from it. All right, so getting your certified installation managers is very easy. What's nice about it is you can do it at your own pace. It's a four-step application to get there, and it's been a while since I've done my SIM certification. And as far as getting around on the FCICA website to get involved and to get registered, it's very easy. But I'm going to hand this over to Kelly right now so that she can help you understand how to get through on the website and what to do and how to look forward to it. So Kelly, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And before I get started, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you do have some questions about the content that we have covered thus far, please go ahead and type your question in the question pane, and we'll address it at the end during the Q&A portion. Okay, so as Mike said, getting your certified installation manager designation as easy as 4 steps. Start submitting your application, purchasing the program, viewing the modules of learning, and passing each assessment. Saying that it's easy to get it, it's easy to get your application in, it's easy to purchase the program, it's easy to view the modules, and you get to do it on your own time at your pace. But that's not saying that the information is easy or that each test is easy. I know, I'm sure, Mike, that you experienced that.
Yes,
a lot
yes,
of
I did.
It's challenging.
It is challenging. It's very knowledgeable and very challenging. Absolutely.
So that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
All right, so what I'd like to do is, as Mike said, it's really easy to submit your application for the program. Let's just go over really quick how you do that. So if you visit the FCICA website, fcica.com, and you go ahead and look on our education tab, on our education tab, you're going to find all the education that FCICA offers, and that's our focus. Our focus is educating commercial flooring contractors, the commercial flooring industry. But if you go ahead and tab down on there, you'll find the Certified Installation Manager program. It has its own page. When you get to that, the SIM page, we call it, you're going to scroll down here, and there's a really easy red button there that says Apply Now. When you click that button, it's going to take you over here to a page that says Create Your Profile. When you're creating your profile, what you're doing is setting up your SIM program account. And what that does for you, it's going to track your progress through the program. And then at the end, once you receive your certification, it's going to start tracking all of your transcripts. It's going to track your transcript. It's going to track all the credits because you are required to accumulate continuing education credits. Even after you're done learning all the SIM information, we still want to make sure you're still learning over the 3 years that your certification is valid. So you're going to go ahead and create your profile, and that's going to take you here to your page, and then your certification status. And if you look right here, you're going to see an apply button. When you click that button, it's going to take you right here to your application. You can see I started one here for you to take a look at. It's a couple pages. The application form is. You're going to fill out your information right here. Then you're going to go ahead and read our code of there's a code of conduct which you can read if you would like to. It's right up here, and it's also available on the website. And then you're going to read the statement here, and then you need to accept that. The statement here talks about how you're going to abide by the SIM code of conduct, and you're going to and you're not going to you're going to do your best to uphold the ideals behind it. Then after you get all done with that, you're going to go to your cart and you're going to purchase your program. So you submit your order. When you submit your order, it gets sent over to us and we get that processed for you. You're going to receive an email just like this one that we have on your screen now, and it tells you how to log in and purchase your program. Okay? And just a side note, if you ever have any issues with your SIM program, if you have questions about the SIM program, you can contact us. My email is kelly@fcica.com. Our office number, 248-661-5015. We'd be happy to help you. So once you get your email and you go ahead and set up your program, you're going to come here to, this is your login page. You're going to log in with your email and the password that we will provide to you. And at that point, you're going to get to purchase your program and get moving. So it's as Mike mentioned before, it is a step-by-step process. You will view the learning modules. one by one. After each learning module, you're going to get an assessment test, and you must pass each and every test as you go through the program. And once you're done, success. Here you are. You have your certification. You're going to get a certificate, a frameable certificate. We're also going to give you a SIM card that you're going to be able to show that you have completed this training. And then you're going to be listed on our website. We have all of our certified installation managers listed on the FCICA website, and we're quite proud of them. Our numbers keep growing. So as I mentioned before, certification maintenance. So once you're done learning the SIM program, you're not actually done learning. We want you to keep on going after that. So you're required to get at least 30 new hours of professional development education during the 3 years that you have your SIM designation. So that's just 10 a year that you can do that. One of the great ways to do that, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is FCICA events or our webinars. For that, you can go ahead and look on again on our SIM page, and it talks about where you can find eligible CEUs. Gives you some ideas on what's a credit and how you can get your credits. So there's a paper right there. Again, contact us if you have any questions. And then if you do happen to attend a training that's a non-FCICA training, you're just going to fill out this credit form, which you receive not only in your handbook, but there's a digital copy of it in the toolbox, the USB drive that you receive once you've applied. And so you can fill out one of those for each training that you attend, and you'll submit that just by email or even by mail to the office here, and we'll process that for you. As I mentioned, credits that are earned from FCICA webinars and events, those are automatically applied to your transcripts. You don't have to submit one of those forms for that. But it's a great way to get your credits, an easy way to get your credits, because we have the education for you. We already have it prepared for you. And we do that with our monthly educational webinars, like this one. We also have monthly product webinars, which are generally the first week or so of the month. And those are our FCICA members who are going to talk to you about the products that they have and educate you on the new and the upcoming products in the industry. We also have our mid-year meeting, which is in October. We just had one in Columbus, Ohio. It was a great success. And then we'll have, again, our annual convention in March, and we're really excited about that one. We'll be in Biloxi, Mississippi. So we give you lots of ways to get your credit. All right, and it's endorsed by leading manufacturers and contractors. Mike, you want to go ahead and address, since you have been on both ends of the industry?
Yes, no, absolutely, absolutely. You know, in regard, let me click on here. In regards to what Kelly was saying, we're highly endorsed by many different manufacturers, distributors, and installation teams, contracting teams, flooring contracting teams. You know, not so much on the manufacturing side. I love to be a part of it. I love to help contractors, you know, because this is more project management motivated. Okay, these are the same guys that are in the trenches with you guys every day. So many times as a project manager, when I spent a decade running projects, that I thought I was the only guy out there dealing with this stuff. I can't tell you, when I got involved with FCICA, how much I actually learned and realized that everybody fights this battle every day, and everybody's got their own problems, everybody's got their own situations, and even in different marketplaces have different issues that they deal with on a regular basis. And you know, you guys listening here today probably know that sometimes it's the same issue job after job after job after job. Some of them are new issues, but I quickly learned when I become a part of the FCICA and I started going there as a project manager, just the knowledge, just the what it brought to me as a project manager to be able to have a phone call list, a list of other flooring contractors like Texan Floors or Allstate Floors, or Bonnets, you know, Becker Brothers. I mean, these guys are huge in the business. They go through the same stuff that you do, and just being able to have this bank of installers to call, this line of friends, as you can say, because you will develop friendships at FCICA, and you know, not only that, but you get to meet guys like myself, okay, who are now on the manufacturing side of it that you can have a personal friendship, a relationship with, that when you're running into issues, you don't have to go through all the chains of command. You can make a direct phone call, and it helped me out greatly, not only as a project manager, but now that I'm on the flip side of it as a manufacturer, it makes me happy to be able to be there for these guys. A lot of these people here in this that you see listed on this piece of paper or on this PowerPoint is very experienced in the industry. And as I said during the presentation, some of the best minds in the industry are part of FCICA, and it's and also part of the SIM program. So not only do we have GCs, or not GCs, not only do we have project managers that want to become part of the SIM program, but even myself as a manufacturer, I've become part of the SIM program too. And we do have other manufacturers and people within the industry for manufacturers that are part of the SIM program. But FCICA is a great program, a great association to be involved with. And like Kelly said, it not only that, but when you come to the annuals or the mid-years, just being there at the educational sessions goes towards your SIM program. So it's a great association to be affiliated with. Kelly?
Okay. So, Mike, we did have a question that came in while we were talking just a moment ago, and this is a great point, and something that we get a lot of questions on. How long can you take to complete the program? And would you like me to go over that question and answer, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
All right. So once you get your application processed and you start your program, once you start, you have a year to go through the SIM program. That doesn't mean that if you get busy and life happens and at the end of that time that you're done, that you lose what you started. Once a year, if a year happens to pass, which is very unusual, but if a year happens to pass, we're going to have a conversation about what happened and see what's going on and get you back on the right road again. As we said, it is on your own pace. There are 8 modules with those 2 bonus modules which are added in there. It can take you, each module takes about an hour and a half or so to view, and then there's the assessment test afterwards, which can take you about 20 minutes to half an hour or so. But you're busy. You guys you and gals have a lot going on, so you may not get to your modules each week, or you may not get to it when you like to, but we're talking 1 module a month, and you're even done in a year. So there's lots of time to do this, and you can do it anywhere. You can even watch them on your phone. I know there are people that I know of that have done that, have been traveling, and they got to finish up their program on their phone while they were traveling. So I hope that answered your questions. If you have any additional questions, you can go ahead and ask that. But Mike, another question that we had, so what made you, Mike, the question is to go through the program? What made you choose the program, and what benefit did you hope to get from it?
Well, knowledge. I mean, basically knowledge, and I think that because I really didn't take the SIM program until after I had stopped project managing, and I had already got a job in the manufacturing aspect of it. But you know what? As far as knowing what to expect, and after, because I do travel a lot and meeting a lot of different flooring contractors in a lot of different marketplaces, and seeing how everything was handled differently, because I'm out on the West Coast, as you know, in California, and how they handle it here is not how they handle it in Texas, and how they handle it in Texas is not how they handle it in Michigan. So for me, it was just about knowledge. I mean, am I a project manager anymore? No, I'm not. But it also gives me a great idea as far as what's out there in the marketplace and how people handle it. So even if I'm involved in questions, conversations, that I can base it off of my experience and maybe give someone else a little bit of intuitiveness as far as where I stood and how I handled different aspects of it. And again, I think what it boiled down to me, Kelly, was basically knowledge is power.
Oh, okay. As we said, you never stop learning.
Nope, you don't.
All right. We have time for just one more quick question here. And again, if you have additional questions, Not only is contact information, my contact information contained in the slides, you can go on our website and you can submit a question there. You will get an email following this session, and it will have all my contact information. Please reach out and ask any questions that you come up with. The last question, though, Mike, when you were talking, you said that job site conditions, for example, could be a session on its own. I think there was a couple other that you said. But will there be changes to the SIM program to update it to include industry changes? Was the question.
Absolutely. We will definitely try to upgrade everything as we can because stuff changes. Now are we going to have are we going to break a module out and change that individual module? We absolutely could, but I mean, job site conditions are job site conditions. Within that module and what we learn from that module is basically the same stuff that we see day in and day out. Now, when I do say that you can have a whole other webinar on that, because there's so many times, especially with FCICA, that we get into these discussions, whether it be moisture testing or installing in unacclimated areas. I mean, it's just it's one of the most intense and non-stop conversations that keep coming up over and over and over again. But to answer the question, are we going to update it? Possibly down the road, yes, we can update it. But I think in general, job site conditions are going to be job site conditions. We all run into it. There might be a little bit different from marketplace to marketplace, but in general, it's all about the same issues. And what the module basically wants to train you for is how to prepare for it and how to deal with it.
That's a good point, Mike. And as Mike said, these modules are the basis. These are the bases that you work from. When you attend FCICA events, when you attend the educational webinars, these are expansions on the content of the SIM program. And they take the content in there and they expand on it. That is an ongoing process with FCICA. As I said, education is our purpose.
Yes.
So as we wrap up here today, just talk about the SIM, as Mike said, him being on the manufacturing side, but being a contractor before. Why is the SIM program for you personally, for career advancement, for you personally to advance your skills, but also for your company. As he said in the beginning of the webinar, you want to make sure you have the best project management on your jobs, and also what the SIM program provides is a comprehensive program to provide a comprehensive program for you, for your project and your project installation managers, so they're all working your projects the same way, and you're reaching the desired result, which is a profit, that you're having a well-run project. Mm-hmm. So as we close out, that is all the time we have for today, unfortunately, but again, we will continue to work on our SIM program and bring you new updates. We'd like to thank not only Mike Pigeon for presenting today's webinar, but also Mike Newberry and Amy Johnston for developing the content. So a lot of work went into this today. Again, if you have additional questions regarding the SIM program, you can contact me, kelly@fcica.com, or our office number is 248-661-5015. And just a reminder to everyone out there that's already a certified installation manager, this webinar provides 1 credit towards your SIM renewal, and we will track that for you, the beauty of attending an FCICA educational event. And then you'll receive an email following this webinar containing not only the link to the recording, but also a brief evaluation and a copy of the presentation slides, and then your certificate of attendance. So we would appreciate if you take a moment to return that evaluation. And we really appreciate your feedback. And Mike, yes, anything else?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their time today on this busy Thursday morning, and hope you guys learned something from it. I hope you're interested in following through with the SIM program, because it's going to help everybody. It's a very educational, and again, put together by some of the top minds in the industry. So a very good, successful program.
Great. Thank you again, Mike, for all the time that you have taken for the SIM program today. And then again, we're just going to close out here with a couple slides with information about FCICA. As I said, education is our purpose. That's the reason we're here, to educate the commercial flooring contractors, the commercial flooring industry, and there's a lot to offer. And we have included an FCICA brochure in your handouts, and we'll send another one to you just so you can, if you're already an FCICA member, you can share it with someone who's not. And that's all we have for today. We want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone, have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Cal.
Thank you.